I know all my uncles were fortunate enough to have automobiles in those days, and they really took care of them. A number of them worked at the planking and packing company. Bass worked there. My dad worked there for a while.
And Chuck, you went to St. Benedict's the Moor. Can you tell me more about going to school at St. Benedict's, St. Ben's?
Yeah, it was, I began St. Benedict's and I was in the 3rd grade.
Okay.
Many of the students were boarding students from all over the country.
Yeah.
The Red Fox was one of the students there. The musician, Lionel Hampton.
That's it, okay.
Now, he was a student when it was in Kenosha, but did eventually moved to Milwaukee.
Okay.
And Mayor Harold Washington of Chicago was also a student at the time.
Okay, that's right, right.
So
right.
we had some interesting experiences with those people.
So you got some pretty one-on-one education.
Oh yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And I think the big difference was that the nuns and priests, they didn't have families to be concerned about, so they could invest all of their time and energy in teaching us and bringing us along. And of course, they acted in the place of the parents for all those youngsters who were from different parts of the country.
Right.
So it was an experience.
Is this
quite different.
Is this when you started? I mean, when did you start playing basketball? How did that all happen?
Well, we lived on Latin Park Playground.
Right.
Particularly during the summer, and that's where I started playing. Of course, we played everything in those days. And continued when I went on to St. Benedict and played there.
Interesting. So you went to St. Norbert's College, and you told me that that you got recruited by the Harlem Globetrotters. Tell me about that.
Well, it was kind of unexpected. When I finished school, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. And I think someone had seen me play, and the owner of the Trotters at the time, Abe Saperstein, had contacts all over the country looking for ball players. And that was at a time when they had access to all of the black basketball players because there were none in the NBA,
right.
what's known as the NBA today. And they invited me for a tryout, and I went down to Chicago and was fortunate enough to make it and spent the next 6 years traveling around with the team.
Wow. Well, okay. Well, I'm a volunteer with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and so I have this 10-year-old. His name is Andre, and I've been trying to get him involved in a sport, and he seems to like swimming. And what advice would you have for Andre about how sports, what role did it play in your life, and that I could take back to Andre and tell him?
Well, never take it too seriously. I think it's a big thing. Many kids today see themselves as, the next Michael Jordan or the next Oscar Robertson or whatever, and there's only enough space for so many. That's what I tell young people, and always have a backup plan, because you never know what might happen. After my 6 years, I knew I was going to have to go to work. So fortunately, I had been to college and had an opportunity to get a decent job along the way.